Hey Gaming Nation, I'm back and I know you're all super excited to see this somewhat good looking, albeit chubby face once again in front of your computer screen. Okay, so today we're doing something a little bit different. We're taking a look at something that I've had my eye on the last about year or two that I've really wanted to build, an HTPC. This is my dream HTPC build that'll go in my house in front of my entertainment center, and I want to know your opinion about it. It'll also fit a lot of yours if you're looking to build a gaming HTPC. So I wanted with something with a little bit of flexibility. I'm going to be playing PC games on this. It's going to be somewhat of a Steam box as well as an HTPC. I'm going to be streaming HD video on it using services like Amazon Prime's streaming. I love Amazon Prime, get everything in 2 days. I use them more than anybody else anymore just because of the fact that I can get everything so quickly, and it's usually pretty competitively priced. Also Hulu and Netflix streaming. So I need to be able to stream with it. Stream movies with it and other TV shows, as well as have 4K support and things like that. So I'm looking for a really great HTPC that has enough storage to fit all my movies, all my photos, you know, put emulators on there, free cable, whatever else I want to do. Okay, so first we're taking a look at processors, and I wanted something that's going to be really energy efficient so I can pretty much keep it on all the time. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to turning off my computers. I'd rather just sit down and play kind of thing. It's fine if they go in standby for a while, then come back. But anyway, I wanted something energy efficient, so I'm looking at the i3 3220T. That's an Ivy Bridge processor. It's an energy efficient processor. Max wattage is 35. So a lot less than a standard processor. Still great performance. If you guys were building this, you might want to go with the i3 3220 if you're just looking for straight performance in the $110 price range. The i3 3220 is going to cost me about $20 more, but again, running it over the next few years because I plan on this being a somewhat future-proof, although that word kind of has a stigma with it. I don't know how future-proof computer hardware is anyway. It just seemed like the processor to go with. Now, i3 Haswell processors are around the corner, and some of you might be thinking, well, why don't you just go with a Haswell processor? Well, number one, Haswell ITX motherboards, I'm planning an ITX build by the way, are just a little more expensive right now, not to mention I'm planning to use a dedicated graphics card because I want that 4K compatibility. So, and I also wanted to be able to upgrade in the future and just pretty much run most of my PC games right from my Steam box right in front of my television. There's really a lot of other great processors that you can consider in the same price range. AMD has a lot of APUs out. You've got Llano, you've got Trinity, you've got Richland. Those are on socket FM1 for Llano, socket FM2 for Trinity and Richland. Those already have the built-in dedicated graphics cards, but I really didn't want those because I wanted straight processing power because I was focusing on a separate dedicated graphics card. You could always use one of AMD's FX series processors as well that you'd use with an 83 Plus motherboard. But again, for me personally, focusing on energy efficiency, processing power, and the fact that I wanted to use a dedicated graphics card, I wanted to go with an Intel processor. For graphics card, we're going to go with the AMD HD 7770. Really, probably the best graphics card under $100. I found a Sapphire one. I'll list it in the description below. That's on rebate now. It gives you like a $20 rebate. You can get it under $80 for the HD 7770. You'll be able to play Battlefield 4 on some low settings with the HD 7770. Why do they make it all the same numbers? Switch it up a little bit so I can actually say it, AMD. So I'm going to have that graphics card, and if I want to, I can upgrade down the road. So anytime you're building an HTPC, one of the biggest questions that comes up is which case should I use? And in terms of a gaming case that's going to give you flexibility and allow you to house a full-size graphics card, I really recommend you go with the Cooler Master Elite Win20. Okay, there's a couple other cases that are really popular out there. The BitFenix Prodigy is a really popular case, but it's really way too big to fit in to my entertainment center shelves, and it's just way too big for what I wanted. So Cooler Master Elite 120, it's all really compact, it's cheap, it's about half the price of the BitFenix Prodigy at about $40, and it allows me to have that full-size graphics card and a normal power supply. Okay, so for a motherboard, I just wanted an ITX motherboard, 1155 ITX motherboard that had a few options in terms of an HDMI out port. I guess I don't really need that with the dedicated graphics card, but one that really came to mind was the ASRock B75M-ITX board. I'm not planning to overclock this machine in any way. In fact, I want it to be power efficient, so why would I want to put more power into it, right? So this board gave me 7.1 channel HD audio support and really had pretty much everything I needed in terms of functionality. Another board, if you guys do need Wi-Fi support, if you do want to try to overclock it, I recommend the Gigabyte GA-Z77N-Wi-Fi. That's the board I'd go with for you power users. Okay, for power supply, I'd go with something efficient and modular. By modular, I just mean you can move the cables, if you guys haven't heard that word before, and 80 plus, I just want it to be more than 80% efficient, since I'm going to be leaving it on a lot of the time. Hopefully, I'll have it set up so it goes into sleep mode, you know, after like 15 to 20 minutes of time has passed and I haven't used it. But the power supply that came to mind with these exact specifications, a quality power supply for this price, is the Corsair CX430. I recently saw this on rebate at Newegg for 40 bucks. Right now it's on Amazon for 50, but I think they're both about $50 at this point in time. Okay, for other components, I'm just going to go with whatever is pretty much cheapest in terms of RAM. Kingston HyperX always has some cheap RAM. I'm just going to get 4 gigabytes because I feel like that's all we need here with the Radeon HD 7770 and the settings that I'm planning to play them on. It's always easy to upgrade RAM later on. I mean, there's definitely enough slots in this motherboard where I can add another 4 gigabyte stick later on if I want to. It's going to cost me about 30 bucks for that RAM. Other things, I'm going to go with the Western Digital green version, the 5400 RPM hard drives, just to save a little bit. Again, use just a little bit less power. I'm not such a green technology kind of person, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm actually more concerned about my budget long term, and also the heat within my entertainment center itself, keeping that heat down. So going with green products, not to say that it's not good to be good to the environment. I'm just saying that's not really my overall concern. My overall concern is how much is this going to cost me in the long run, and how hot is it going to get? Okay, that wraps up the official part of the build. A few things you guys can consider adding are a Windows 7 remote control. You can get some pretty cheap ones around $14 that have an infrared receiver that goes on your computer, and those just have a little bit of a lag on them. I'd prefer to just use a mouse with mine, a wireless mouse, but you guys can get that if you want to. Another optional component would be a Blu-ray drive. There's an inexpensive one online, an Asus model. It's the BC-12 B1ST. It's about 50 bucks. If you guys don't plan on ripping all your Blu-rays and things like that and putting them onto your HTPC, then that's a really good option. For me, I'd rather use one of my faster gaming rigs to rip everything that I need and then either put it directly onto that HTPC or use an external hard drive. Okay, that's it for this video. We've got some really exciting things coming up. I'm going to be taking a look at my favorite Haswell motherboards for the money. We're going to look at the under $400 category, under $200, under $150, and under $100 categories, and just talk about everything Haswell during that video. Also, in anticipation of Battlefield 4, we've got some professional gamer interviews coming up. Should be really interesting what they think about this game and what this game needs in terms of being an e-sport. Also, I know that videos like this just get a little bit stale, so I wanted to let you guys know that this video is like the Building a Gaming PC series that we had before. It's updated every single month, so you guys can always go onto my website or the link in the description below to see what I've decided to change for this particular build. I'd also love to know what you think about this build and if you'd change anything. So if you've got a good comment, leave it in the comment section below. We can have a discussion about what you think the best HTPC build would be in the $500 category. Remember, it needs to be a gaming HTPC, not just a standard HTPC that just watches full high definition video. As always, if you like this video, press that like button and that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.